Thank you so much. What a tough act to follow. Thank you both for sharing those lovely words. It's so wonderful to hear from both of you, and congrats and kudos to both of you. Anywho, I will do my best to try to transition from that over to my story. Hi and welcome. It's so lovely to see so many of you online with us today. I was in your shoes. I remember the first time I joined this presentation a few years back. My son had been recently diagnosed, and I thought, why not lean in and listen a little bit to some other parents who have walked these paths and forged these ways forward, and hear from them to see what they've done. And my takeaway for you guys will be to just listen in and pull the little glimmers of things that you see that may work for you. Everyone's path is going to be a little bit different. I'm super excited to be here tonight to share my family stories and to try to help in any way I can to help guide you on a path forward in your own ASD journey. I'm excited to share that, the experiences that we've had, just so that none of you are feeling like you're alone in this. What you're experiencing is something we've all done as well. So as people are continuing to do so, sharing their information, do feel free to reach out to anyone that you feel comfortable doing so. We're here for you, and we're here to help answer questions after this as well. I know if you're anything like I was after receiving my son's diagnosis, my head was a little bit spinning. I've heard many times other families say that they felt super motivated, but also paralyzed at the same time. You want to try and do everything you can for your kids as quickly as possible. But I understand now there's a lot of roadblocks and a lot of dead ends as you're trying to forge your way forward. You probably feel a little bit scared and worried, a little angry and sad. And I hope you feel all those emotions. I want you to know that that's okay. We've all experienced those emotions, and it's totally normal. It's part of the process. And I can guarantee you, and I'm sure as you've heard in the experiences that we just listened to, it gets easier. You as a parent gets stronger as you go forward, and you'll get better at navigating the system and learning what works for your kid as well. That little blonde cutie in the slide beside me is my son, Nathan. He is 8 years old. He is friendly and curious and funny and very sweet. He knows everything about the Titanic. He loves playing Roblox and Minecraft, as most 8-year-old children do. He loves movies just like his mom, and he will pretty much watch anything I suggest to him just to make me happy. He's just that sweet kid. He's just a regular kid, and he has autism. Similar to some of the stories we've heard this evening, I had a very normal pregnancy. Nathan was my first child. He was a very easy, happy, easygoing baby. He started talking and walking at normal timelines, but it was for us as well about the 18th month time frame where we noticed a little bit of a shift in Nathan. Some of the skills he had developed were regressing, and his talking was just not progressing. That's a pretty common theme I think we've heard tonight. We had a feeling something was going on. We didn't quite know what it was. I actually took the reins here and self-referred to a First Words community clinic, just kind of a walk-in situation. And I was like, what's happening here? Tell me everything I need to know to help this kiddo. She listened to the speech pathologist that I met with, listened to me explain that the words he used to say have now disappeared. And his main way at that time of communicating with us was kind of screaming and whining and banging, which was just not productive for anyone. She watched as he paced around the little room we were in, which was super unfamiliar to him. He dumped toys all over the ground. But didn't really play with anything. She noticed, obviously, that there was something up in that regard, and she referred us to the Ottawa Children's Treatment Center and CHEO. So at this time, he was, like I said, about 18 months. He was nonverbal. He only played with Hot Wheel cars. He loved, similar to Leslie's story, loved lining them up and inspecting each of them. And he would do this for hours at a time. He loved swinging in any possibility that he could get it in. And that is actually where he was most at peace. It was fascinating to watch. The referral to OCTC actually thrust us pretty quickly into the autism world. We had a ton of paperwork and meetings and appointments and a ton of information thrown at us. it was a lot to keep track of, and there was a lot to learn. We received our ASD diagnosis for Nathan about a year after our referral. We had kind of guessed what was going on, and I had kind of suspected that we would hear that he would get that diagnosis, but it still hurt a little bit, still stung the heart a little tiny bit when we got the actual words. So I do feel for Leslie in that triggering moment. I think you're right, it sticks with us forever. I remember feeling very, very overwhelmed and very afraid, worried about the unknown, afraid of the future, afraid of all the things we just didn't know about autism at that time. I remember someone saying to us, I don't remember who it was, but at the diagnosis saying, this really doesn't change anything. The situation's still the same. We're just going to get you some resources and we're going to, build a path forward. It really did change a lot of things though. And most importantly, it changed me. I wanted to know everything. I read and researched and attended every info session I could find. I reached out for resources where I could find it. We started speech therapy and occupational therapy through CHEO and some private providers at that time as well. And one of the best things we did at that time was we had started to going to some play groups that was specialized for kiddos on the spectrum. And it gave me the opportunity to be around parents like us, parents who have experienced things, parents who have tried different things and could share the lessons learned. I was able to learn some strategies and some techniques from some awesome humans who were running these programs. They were there to help our kids learn to socialize and play and grow. And like I said, met some truly amazing families that we're still friends with today. And I think that's super, super important for you to find those people in your lives and try to, help each other out through this path. Nathan started at a part-time in preschool when he was about 3 years old, and he also participated in a school readiness program through Mothercraft in Ottawa. There's many school readiness programs offered in the community. You just have to search for them, and they're super helpful in preparing the kiddos on the spectrum, especially to prep them for what school's going to look like and really give them an idea of what the expectations of school is going to be like. We tried to find everything we could to help set Nathan up for success as we got ready to send him off to school. It was a scary moment. It was the first time I was leaving him with somebody else, in the hands of somebody else. They say early intervention is the best interventions, and we were lucky to have an early diagnosis, and we really did try to come at it at all angles, every way we could. And that said, different therapies work for different kids. So you've heard some terminologies of different therapies of different families have gone forward with. It doesn't mean that those will work for you. My suggestion would be really to, listen in, do some research, try some things out. And if it doesn't work, try something else out. You'll find the right thing for your kid. Nathan started school, junior kindergarten at our local elementary school. As I said, I was a little bit worried. He was only saying about 10 words. He wasn't fully potty trained. We didn't know what that was going to mean, but you know what? We survived it. His words started to flow. And as a bonus, we had a lovely educational assistant who got him out of those pull-ups, which was fantastic. In December of that same year, we got a call from CHEO offering us a spot in their intensive behavioral therapy. So he was doing a little bit of a combination of some school at CHEO and some school at our home school as well, just to keep him connected to that school community. CHEO was amazing. The skills he was able to develop with the therapy there. We say that that experience alone to date is the best thing that has happened to us, connecting with those CHEO team. They provided our family with life-changing services that we'll be forever grateful for. The services that they provide have changed over time for a number of reasons, but I think if you can find the ones that work for you, you will be forever grateful as well. In senior kindergarten, Nathan was offered a spot at a smaller ASD specific classroom at a new school, which was a huge bummer. It meant we had to start all over again with our school. But we did feel like it was a good step for him. It would be a smaller classroom with other kiddos on the spectrum. And then he would do a combination of integrating with the kindergarten classes there as well. He also continued during that time in the CHEO classroom as well. So it was a lot of moving parts and pieces for us in managing our schedule from day to day. in drop off and pickup. Nathan also has a younger brother who was at an additional school, so it's quite a complicated time, but you make things work where you have to, and luckily for us the results were quite fantastic. This all helped, all of these different pieces helped us when he was transitioning back to grade 1 to his home school, and we were dropping the therapy school and the smaller classroom specifically for kiddos on the spectrum. It's been an uphill battle for us, for Nathan as well. Things haven't always been easy, things haven't always been fun, but when we reflect on where we came from, which has given me an opportunity to think about all of those things to present to you tonight, we totally respect all the work that he's done and where he is today. He's in grade 3, he's at his home school, he has a partial support in his classroom from an EA, and he continues to work with a therapist from CHEO a couple times a week. We're still working on the development and maintenance of a ton of skills that he just doesn't learn on his own. We also work very closely with the school to make sure that the stuff we're learning at CHEO and the types of things that we're putting in place there is transitioning to the school environment as well, just to help keep him up to snuff with the class, and to help support the teachers in his learning as well. I think it's safe to assume that Nathan will always need some sort of little extra support as he continues through school. He struggles now with some social interactions as well. We continue to participate in play groups where we can, and try to take some CHEO social skills groups that are available when it fits into our schedules as well. He's got some pretty intense anxieties. He struggles with overstimulation. Things like loud noises or very intense emotions are a lot for him. But he's learning coping skills and strategies, and we're learning as well and trying to help support him through those moments as best we can. In school, he's doing a great job of keeping up in the class where he can. He, as we've heard from some of the other stories, he just needs to be taught in a different way. He needs sort of more a slower, more repetitive fashion of learning. He's a visual learner, so supports for him are huge in the classroom. And that's the thing, you sort of learn these things about your kids. You learn what makes them tick, you learn what motivates them, you learn what helps them, support them in their journey, and you just find ways to implement them wherever you can. About a year ago, interestingly, Nathan started asking us why he felt a little bit different, why things came naturally to his brother, who's neurotypical, but not to him. He asked why, when he was younger, he had bounced from a couple of different schools, and why he continued to have classes with his lovely therapist a couple times a week. We toyed with how we were going to respond to this, and eventually we were just very open and honest with him. We explained to him that he had autism. We framed it in a way that said he had some superpowers that other kids didn't have. Sometimes these powers helped him and sometimes they worked against him. We continue to try to frame things as positively as possible. We don't want him ever thinking that he is less than anyone else around him. He loves to now share this information with other people. You'll often hear him saying, I have superpowers, they're autism superpowers. Or, he'll say things like, I'm so awesome because I have autism. And you know what? He is 100% right. I'm going to wrap this up quickly because I think my time is coming to an end as well. But just a couple of things that I wanted to make sure I shared with you without totally overwhelming you with more information. The first piece would be to learn as much as you can, find the resources, the funding, and the help along the way. Attend the information session, read the books, follow the blogs. There are a ton of them. Listen to podcasts. There's so much information out there ready for you to consume. And the good thing is you're starting out with this one already by being here tonight. So kudos to all of you for taking that step. Find your village, look for the helpers around you. We are all out here ready to help, whether it's, parents like us that are here tonight, or kids or adults that are on the spectrum. There's so much to learn from other people who have been here before you. Lean on those people who do get it, ask the questions and let us help you. You're not alone in this journey. The last thing would be to celebrate the wins, big and small. We in our house like to circle back to remember sort of where we started from. there's nothing better than realizing how far Nathan has come when we take a look back and look at the path and everything that he has been through to where we are today. I'll finish by saying that this autism journey has been very eye-opening for us, and it's going to be the same for you. You can do this. I wish you all the best in your journey, and I hope one day we hear your story here in the future. Thanks so much, guys.